Welcome to the Swafford Homestead.
I know this is video number 3 about the treasure. The whale.
Well, I got started. I didn't think it was going to be that much. But then it took a hot minute to dig.
We dug almost to the limit of that backhoe. It got to the point where it was just gravel and water, and I'd scoop the gravel and scoop the water, and every time I'd come back I'd get another load of gravel, another load of water, and it didn't seem like I was getting anywhere. We decided that was probably a good place to stop.
And I was doing most of the videoing. I haven't had very good days, so I've been watching them and looked at Brett and I went, you picked up the videos that I don't sound like I know what I'm talking about too well. Because I made several little ones and he was picking them out. Wasn't intending for this to be a 3-part series. No. But when he finished the first one, he didn't realize I didn't say what the treasure was.
I dug for...
And I told him, I made 4 or 5 videos he had to pick from.
3 evenings, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was about 3 evenings of it.
I know I'm not a fast operator. I can operate a lot of stuff. I'm not fluent at it. But that backhoe's old, and it has some unique quirks about the way it operates. And
it's old.
And I was digging down through a concrete well lining. For the most part, I had to knock one wall completely out to get in it because of the size of the backhoe and the depth of it. And I tore the second wall up going down through it because the backhoe there again is a little old, and it has a few quirks about the way it operates. So I knocked the wall loose. The swing on it is really touchy. That's the reason nobody was really close to the hole when I was digging, because it's very dangerous.
Yes, it was.
But
he slung mud on me and I was 5 feet away.
This is the third and final video. We just wanted to put some clarity to the video. I don't feel like I explained myself well in this last video, so we're going to do a little intro here, and I'm going to probably do a voiceover over what I was showing. Because the well did wind up holding water at the bottom, and I could not scoop it out with the backhoe fast enough. I could take a bucket out and it would be right back. So there's probably a foot of water anyway in the bottom. I'm hoping when we pump it, it will actually increase.
But
as we use it.
We did come to one conclusion in all of this digging. What we thought we covered the top of wasn't very deep in covering. We wasn't the first one to cover it up, we don't think.
I didn't fill that well completely up. That well was already filled up, and somebody capped it 2 or 3 feet deep down in the ground with concrete. What I filled in was when I dug off with a plow, I found the top of it, and I caved in the other 2 or 3 feet and then covered it with dirt. And over the years I've moved the dirt down to the yard because our yard is on an angle, even though the camera won't never show it. There's a 4 or 5 foot drop from the top of my garden to the bottom. There's probably a couple of feet now. I've moved a lot of dirt with the backhoe, with the garden tiller, moved it with the tractor. We've done a little bit of everything trying to flatten it out a little more. So it got buried pretty deep. It was probably 2 foot deep before I got to it. And I just hit the corner of it when I first dug, so we didn't really get the video when my first hole I dug. Because I hit it right at the end of the day, one evening when I was digging. And I stopped because it was getting dark and I couldn't see what I was doing. And I thought about it overnight, and I said, I hit the corner of that thing, I need to scoot over a little bit. I dug too far to the east, I guess you could say. But it was a well. It had no bottom. It had no concrete base, so it's not a cistern. I got asked several people if I was digging out a cistern, and I said, well, it had 4 walls. It had concrete foundation at the bottom, but it was full of gravel. And as far as I could dig down, I never did find no floor in it. I just kept finding gravel and water, and I felt like I hit what I dug out was a shallow well. There's 2 more on our property, but they're too far away for me to use. I was hoping this one was still good, even though they filled it up.
So we're hoping in video 3 here, you will get to see, maybe understand how we're going to use this, since it did keep putting the water back just as fast as he dug it out. This third and final video will show you how we're going to, what's the word, utilize what we have found.
Yeah, we're gonna, got some ideas. We'll just have to let you see the video.
Well, we're back at the hill pile with dirt, and we got our hole, and the well didn't quite turn out exactly what we thought, but it's not something we can't work without.
Like I said, it does hold some water. It still had water in it when I put these barrels off in it. We decided to use 3 barrels for a liner and just fill it back in around it. Now the barrels do have slots in it where the water can run in, water run out. They're not sealed, they're just stacked on top of each other, cut apart and restacked and screwed together. But we figured it would keep the hole open where I could pump out of it. And it's, for the most part, it had water in it that night, it has water in it the next morning. It's been holding at least a foot of water in the bottom the whole time. And it hadn't rained this month.
No.
At this point.
Well, we have thought that, you know, even though we feel like we said, that it was buried before we knocked in the top. It's got concrete around where these barrels are.
It's got,
and you couldn't scoop without scooping water. So we're going to improvise and use it to our advantage.
We're going to fill the dirt back around it. I'm going to put gravel around the barrel as I come up with the dirt. I've got some creek gravel out here. I've had for a long time. We had a pile of it. We got a lot of things in this yard. But as I'm putting the dirt back, I'm going to put the concrete pieces and the blocks around the outside edge and put dirt with it, and then we'll pour gravel around the inside around the edge of the barrel. That'll give it a path for the water to run. Fill it up almost to the top, but probably angle it in towards the barrel slightly where it'll make a pond. And the water in the garden will run into the barrel, or run to the barrel and run around it and sink down in the ground, and we can pump it back out when we need it. Here's our plan.
That's the goal. Well, first we got to put everything around it, get all the rocks situated out, and see how well it holds water, I guess.
We was in a hurry too to get this done. We worked for 3 evenings digging.
Because rain's coming.
Because it kept calling for rain, and it would sprinkle, but it never would rain. On the 3rd day, when I finished this hole, as deep as I could get it, it started sprinkling, so I quit.
Oh.
The next day, we dropped these barrels together. Put the barrels together and I dropped them in the hole. This is before I get the ground filled back in some.
He starts getting the ground filled in just in time because the rain almost caught him. Before we get all the dirt put back in here, the rain's a-coming.
The morning after I got all the dirt put in, I worked in the evenings after work. I got the dirt put in one evening. The next morning I got up, it started raining. We got almost 2 inches of rain. And it filled the hole completely to the top. This is a video of the afternoon when I come back in from work. I actually pulled my phone out and videoed this because I barely got down there, so swampy and muddy. And the water had dropped a little bit. It wasn't all the way to the top of the hole no more, but you could see the dirty barrel. The hole was level with water. You couldn't tell there was a hole there.
Yeah.
Inside the barrel, I couldn't get over to it really good because I was afraid I would slide off in it. But the water was just as high as the water level on the outside. So the barrel is letting water in and out, which we think is going to be a great thing. And there's water running in the bottom all the time, so this is going to be a well cistern combo.
Hey, as long as it's enough water, we can water the muscadines. That's all we really need.
We want to be able to water the muscadines and the blackberries. Blackberries all the way around this thing too. That was another thing I was digging around, but we're hoping this works out.
We thank y'all for watching and following each one of these phases as we dug our treasure.